It started like any other day. Hal and Bill had never expected that a simple act of curiosity would unravel the nightmare that lay dormant in their family history. They had just returned to their childhood home, long since abandoned after their father's sudden death. The house was filled with memories, some good, some dark, but none as haunting as the discovery they made in the attic. As the two brothers rifled through old boxes and forgotten keepsakes, Hal found it. A small, rusted monkey toy with symbols that clicked together mechanically when wound. The toy seemed innocent enough, an old relic from their childhood. Their father had been an eccentric man, a lover of oddities, and the monkey was one of his strange collections. He'd never talked much about it, but there it was, in the corner of the attic, waiting to be rediscovered. Hal was the first to wind it. The toy symbols clashed together with an eerie, metallic sound. A cold shiver ran down his spine. Bill laughed at him, calling it just a silly toy, but something felt wrong. Hal couldn't shake the feeling that the toy's presence was more than just a relic. That night, Bill's childhood friend, Robert, came over. In jest, Robert decided to wind the monkey and set it off. The symbols clicked again, and Robert laughed until the next morning. Robert was found dead in his apartment, his body twisted unnaturally, his eyes wide with terror. The doctors called it a freak accident, an aneurysm, they said. But Hal and Bill knew better. The monkey had returned. And it was hungry for death. At first, they tried to brush it off. A freak accident. But when the second death came, a close family friend, Eleanor, found dead in her car under strange circumstances, they couldn't ignore it any longer. Each death was accompanied by the sound of the symbols. The brothers tried to rationalize it. Could they be imagining it? Or was the monkey really the source? Hal was the first to dig deeper. In their father's study, he discovered a dusty old journal, hidden beneath stacks of papers. It belonged to their father, and it contained disturbing entries that hinted at a dark truth. Their father had written about the monkey, how he had found it in an antique store, a mysterious shop that seemed to appear out of nowhere. The store's owner, an old woman with an unsettling smile, had warned him about the toy, but their father had laughed it off as superstition. He brought it home, not realizing that the toy was more than just a cursed object. It was an ancient relic, a vessel of death, tied to a dark pact made long before his birth. Each time the symbols clicked, the monkey would claim a life. The deaths were random, but they were always connected to those who had wronged someone in their past. The toy was a manifestation of guilt, a constant reminder that the sins of the past would never truly be buried. Their father, it seemed, had been carrying a dark secret, a secret that had finally come back to haunt him. The brothers decided they had to rid themselves of the monkey. They tried everything, burning it, burying it, throwing it into the sea, but each time, it returned. The symbols would click, and another death would follow. They couldn't outrun it, no matter how far they went. Desperate, they sought answers. They traveled to the same antique store where their father had found the toy, hoping to find some clue that could help them break the curse. The shop was exactly as it had been described in their father's journal, an eerie, forgotten place tucked away in a shadowy alley. The old woman was still there, sitting in the same rocking chair, her eyes gleaming with an unnatural knowing. "You can't escape it," she said, her voice low and rasping. "The monkey is tied to you now. To your bloodline. It has always been there, and it will always be there. The curse isn't just about the toy. It's about the choices you make. The sins you carry. The monkey simply collects what's owed." The brothers were horrified. It wasn't just a toy, it was a curse, a punishment for the wrongs committed by their father, and by extension, them. They had never known what their father had done in his younger years, but it was now clear that the monkey was the price to pay for his past mistakes. As they returned to the house, the final realization hit them. They couldn't break the curse. It wasn't just about the toy, it was about their father's sins. Hal and Bill had inherited those sins, and now they, too, would be haunted by the monkey. The last victim was close. Bill's fiancée, Sophie, had been helping them try to understand the mystery of the toy. She was the next to die, her body found cold and lifeless, her face frozen in terror, the sound of cymbals ringing in her ears. The brothers were broken. They had tried everything to stop it, but it was clear now there was no escaping their fate. In a final, desperate act, Hal took the monkey and wounded one last time, knowing that this would be the end. The cymbals clicked together, but this time, there was no death to claim. The monkey, it seemed, had no more victims left to claim. It had already taken everything from them, their innocence, their loved ones, and their sanity. But as the cymbals stopped, a final thought lingered in Hal's mind. Was the monkey truly finished? Or was this just the beginning?